habits and make our behaviors automated. We can also make changes to our existing bad habits and transform them into good ones. To take the example with the chocolate bar, let's assume it's your craving for something sweet that drives you to eat it. The next time you get a craving to eat a candy bar, replace it with an apple. The first time you'll modify your behavior will be the hardest. That's when your self-discipline is needed the most. You may need to put into use some of the tips I'm going to share later in the book. Once you repeat the same behavior several times, it will get easier and easier to replace the bar with an apple. Several weeks later, you will grab an apple at the sight of a chocolate bar. It will become your new default. You won't even think twice about making a different choice. Developing new habits is the essence of self-discipline. But there's a better way to introduce new habits than doing it one by one. Focus on keystone habits. Charles Duhigg talks in his book about keystone habits, patterns that lead to the transformation of several other areas of life. Unsurprisingly, one of the most powerful habits that lead to changing other patterns is regular physical activity. Studies show that regular physical activity may lead to reduced overeating, smoking, alcohol consumption, and risk-taking. Consequently, just one change in your daily routine can help you introduce numerous other healthy changes with little to no resistance. Positive things just happen and transform your life. Sign me up. Oh, sorry, I already benefited from this phenomenon. Just like in the example in the cited research, exercise has also made me a better person. When I started weightlifting, I went from a weak and overweight person with an unhealthy diet to a healthy, strong, and fit male. Today, all the little unhealthy habits that were a part of my life before I started exercising don't exist anymore. It's even better than that. I have a natural resistance to go back to an unhealthy diet or other bad habits that used to rule my life. When someone offers me a bag of potato chips, I don't need any discipline to say no. It's just not a part of my new personality to eat it. Another keystone habit that can help you make changes in your life with much less discipline than tackling each of them separately is food journaling. Research shows that people who journal their intake of food ate less and made healthier choices. Besides the habit of writing down what they ate during the day, none of the participants was encouraged to change any other habits. The change, as in the case of exercise, happened naturally. I also used food journaling to keep track of what I ate. It helped me understand the amount of energy and nutrients each food provides, and how to use it either to lose weight or to build muscle. Both exercising and food journaling are two keystone habits that can transform your life. But what if you already have a healthy diet and exercise regularly? Keystone habits don't stop at just these two behaviors. You can apply Duhigg's findings into any other area of your life and look for other keystone habits. Here are some potential keystone habits you can develop in your life and expect a positive chain reaction. 1. Meditation. There are at least 20 scientifically proved benefits of meditation that carry over to all areas of life. We'll talk about meditation in more detail in a later chapter. 2. Waking up earlier. Even waking 15 minutes earlier can bring a huge change in your life by letting you start your day with less stress and in no hurry. Reduced tension in the morning can help you improve your relationships with other people and become more effective at work. 3. Trying a new thing every single day. Stepping outside your comfort zone and doing things you have never done before will help you discover new hobbies, meet new people, and face your fears. 4. Saving money. No matter what you think about money and happiness, a couple months of savings can make only positive changes in your life, leading to decreased stress and more financial safety that spills over to other aspects of life. 5. Expressing gratitude for things you're thankful for. Studies show that writing down 3 things that went well on a given day led to steady increases in happiness. Is willpower a resource? Several authors, such as Kelly McGonigal and Roy Baumeister, describe willpower in their books as a limited resource that needs to be managed. Their findings, based mostly on Baumeister's research, seem interesting. Our willpower works like a muscle, and we can both strengthen it and fatigue it. Their model suggests willpower depends on our blood glucose. When it drops, so does our self-control. In other words, hungry people were more likely to make bad decisions. It didn't feel right to me. I follow an unusual eating pattern by fasting for 16 to 20 hours every single day and eating in a short 4 to 8 hour window. Yet, I don't magically give in to temptations during my period of fasting. If anything, it gives me more clarity. When researching information for this book, I found evidence that their advice might indeed be wrong. Robert Kurzban and his colleagues believe that the hypothesis of willpower as a resource that can be resupplied with glucose is unlikely to be correct. A German study confirms Kurzban's beliefs. Some studies even show that the amount of your willpower depends on whether you believe it's limited or not, and definitely not on your levels of blood sugar. Confusing, huh? When writing this book, I decided to adapt both points of view without the controversial, add some sugar to restore your self-control. The second most important thing to learn how to live a more disciplined life is to understand how important self-awareness and motivation are and how they can help you stick to your resolutions, low blood sugar level or not. And that's what we're going to cover in the second chapter. The fundamentals of self-discipline. Quick recap. 1. On average, it takes 66 days to form a habit. Once you make a certain behavior automatic, you won't have to rely on your self-discipline to keep doing it. When presented with a specific cue, you will automatically react to it just like you trained yourself to do. It's the simplest way to introduce more discipline in your life. 2. Keystone habits give the best bang for the buck. If you haven't done so already, introduce a habit to exercise on a regular basis. If it's already a part of your routine, consider meditation, waking up earlier, expressing gratitude, saving money, or trying one new thing every day. Chapter 2. What is your why? The most basic definition of self-discipline is the ability to control your urges in order to meet your long-term goals. The key word here is your long-term goals, your reason why you say no to instant gratification. The second best thing to stick to the promises you made to yourself is to have a strong why and remind yourself of it when faced with a temptation. Let's imagine your goal is to get healthy and lose weight. That's a fine goal, but it won't work when someone tempts you with a piece of chocolate. This goal isn't specific enough, and it doesn't elicit a powerful emotional response. Let's switch it to something more specific. You want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year to fit into your sexy red dress or suit. Replace it with any other favorite piece of clothing that makes you feel good. Imagine how light and young you will feel when you wear it. How happy and healthy you will be in control of your diet and your fitness. Now, look at that piece of chocolate. Is it really worth it to give up this powerful vision for a short burst of sugar? Grab an apple instead and feel good knowing you're still on track. There's one thing missing in this technique though. Pause, and think about your why in full details. Think about what you hear, what you smell, what else you feel. The goal is to give yourself at least a minute to take your mind off the craving. When you slow down, your body will restore its ability to resist a temptation. If you make an impulse decision when faced with a craving, your choice is rarely going to be aligned with your long-term goals. That's the technique you can use when you're faced with a temptation. It's not an effective way to motivate yourself on a daily basis, though. The common approach of visualizing your goal is more likely to get you off track than help you get closer to your goal. Let's explore why. The proper way to visualize. UCLA researchers Lean B. Pham and Shelley E. Taylor conducted an experiment that compared standard visualization, imagining the moment you achieve the goal, with sports visualization that focuses on visualizing the process, used by the likes of Michael Phelps, one of the top Olympic swimming medalists. Their findings confirmed that visualizing the process in detail is more effective than imagining the goal, a single event. Imagining the goal, thanks to dopamine, lets you enjoy the feeling of reward without actually doing any work. Consequently, you lose the drive to strive to reach your objectives. How should you visualize your goals to become more disciplined, then? You envision in little details each action you need to take in order to achieve your goal. If your goal is to become a healthy, fit and strong person, you envision lifting weights and sweat trickling down your forehead. You think about cooking a healthy, tasty meal. You imagine yourself walking past the aisle with your favorite snacks and picking vegetables instead. You see yourself putting on your running shoes instead of turning on your television. Better yet, it should be gone from your house forever. In other words, you train your mind to prepare yourself for the challenges you're undoubtedly going to meet in the real world. The more often you picture all the necessary steps you need to take to achieve your goal, the easier it will be to make them an inherent, non-negotiable part of your life. When you switch your mind from event-oriented to process-oriented, magic will happen. Be selective in your life. Research suggests that students tend to procrastinate more on tasks regarded as unpleasant, and to a lesser extent, on tasks requiring skills they didn't believe they possessed. The solution? Become more selective in your life and focus on the essential tasks, ideally tasks you find both pleasant and that play off your strengths. People who want to become more disciplined often mistake self-discipline with making themselves miserable. That's not what self-discipline is about. The only use of increased self-discipline is to help you reach the goals you want to achieve. In other words, no amount of self-discipline will be enough to help you stick to doing things you hate. Here's where the issue of selectivity comes into play. We all have 24 hours in a day and limited energy. Spreading yourself thin by trying to accomplish too many things at once is suboptimal at best and will work against you in the worst case. That's why the first step to introduce more self-discipline into your life is to form keystone habits. In many cases, these simple behaviors will lead to huge changes that will lead to yet more transformation. The second important thing is to ask yourself how your new goals fit into your general plan for your life. Are you doing them because you genuinely believe they will enhance your life or because that's something you're supposed to do? Here's an anecdote from my personal life. Like millions of other kids, when I finished high school, I was encouraged by my parents to go to the college. Without a degree you don't matter, they said.